Hi folks, hope you're doing well. In today's vlog, we'll talk about the 3 holidays. Being a supply chain planner or supply chain manager, you need to be conscious throughout the year, right? So these holiday happens and we know about them, but we might not carefully think about them, or we might not communicate to a supplier, right? So what are those 3 holidays? The first one is the Christmas time, where most of the companies or most of the companies around the world are shut down. The second is the summer holidays in Europe, or in some countries in general, where the factories are shut down. And the third one is basically the Chinese New Year. So we'll talk about all of them a bit more detail, but let's understand the implications. If you don't think about those 3 holidays carefully, what are the implications? Very simply, if you don't have the stock, it will affect your customer service. You won't be able to supply to your customer. It will affect your brand. It will affect your revenues. It will affect your top line. It will affect your bottom line. In general, most of the customer service issues or business or top line issues you will face. You will see that. So let's think about how we can, what are the things we can do, right? Or what are the key factors we need to incorporate to avoid those disruptions which I just mentioned. So let's take the first one, which comes in the air, the Chinese New Year, right? So most of the companies, in some shape or form, either a first tier supplier or a second tier supplier or a third tier supplier, are relying on the Chinese suppliers. As we all know, generally between February time or sometime it goes in March, there's a Chinese New Year for 2 weeks, and most factories are shut down. So most of the suppliers in China are there in the south part, but the laborers come generally around, or the workforce come around from the north, right? So when the Chinese New Year happens, they start going their homes generally around 2 weeks early, and they don't come back actually after 2 weeks. So there's almost like a lack of capacity or workforce available during 4 to 6 weeks. So what do you do? So the first thing you do is to communicate early. Right now, maybe I'm recording this video end of December, so this would be probably the right time, or even earlier in November. You should start talking to your suppliers, start understanding what would be the supply gaps, and start putting buffers in contingencies in, right? So that's the first thing. But issue is not just the putting inventory in. I think the issue is bigger than that. The another issue you're gonna face is that there will be a capacity issue with the freight providers, right? So for example, if you somehow you did not manage to put the right stocks in to cover the supply gaps, then you won't even find the carrier to carry the goods, or to air freight, or you have to pay a lot of money to get the product in. So where is the implication? So the actual implication of depending on the lead time, which is generally 4 to 8 weeks from China for most customers in Europe, Middle East, Africa, and the worldwide, is going to be in just before summer, right? Which will be April, May, June time, where generally there's a peak sales for whatever commodity you're trading in, right? So therefore, you have to start thinking almost 6 months before. Where will be the implications of not having the product available, right? So talking to suppliers in China, make sure you have a product available in place, capacity is in place, and you have to, most importantly, you basically put that into your inventory forecast, and mostly in budget. The second one is the summer shutdown. So especially that is more focused on our European supply chain, where most of the European suppliers goes on holiday. I mean, France almost gets shut down. I used to live in Sweden, and during the month of August, it was all shut down, almost like a party time, which is brilliant to be. Sun is shining, a lot of festivals going on, holiday period, but not good for supply chain, right? So you need to start thinking, what are the implications of the summer shutdown? Very similar to Chinese New Year. How you're gonna plan your inventories during those periods, because depending on what business you are in, customer will still want those products even though your people go on holiday during summer period. In the European factories or European businesses, people need to sell, so you need to again, think proactively, think about your total supply chain lead time. Again, I wrote a blog which you can find the link below, why it's important to understand the total customer lead time. You might find it useful. So understand your total supply chain lead time, customer lead time, and put the strategic stocks in. The third one, which probably the least troublesome, is the Christmas period, right? Again, I'm not talking about the Christmas seasonality where you have to build the stocks in to sell it. I'm not talking about that. Again, very similar to summer shutdown. During Christmas period, most people go on holidays and they want to spend time with the families to have a good Christmas around the world. So during that period, again, the capacities are low, there is less people in the office, therefore again lower capacity. So if you don't plan your production during the Christmas period or build the stocks when you don't have people around, it will have the implication on your your sales, your profits, your customer service, your brand, and so on and so forth, right? I have done it. I mean, it's obvious, but let me share you a quick experience that it's people know it, but if you don't think it carefully, the implications are bigger, right? Because the time it takes to catch up, if you don't have the stock, it takes time, it costs a lot of money, and it creates a bit of havoc, right? So think proactively. Hopefully you can find those tips I've given you useful. If you think there's any other reason we should be doing the stock builds or thinking about the holiday planning, let me know. And again, just what I really don't want to say, okay, let's build the stock in. You can think about other creative strategies. Maybe have a contracted supplier available. Maybe you can ask people to come in and pay extra money, but again, it's gonna cost you money as well. So think about creatively how can plan you for holidays. Hopefully you find this vlog useful. I've written a blog on the same topic, which you can find the link below in the comments. So please leave the comments of the blog and leave the comments about this video. Hope if you like it, please do subscribe it. And if you have any questions or ideas, and if you want to make any more videos on certain topics, please leave it in the comments, and hopefully I'll talk to you soon. Thank you very much. So if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments below.